Hey guys, welcome to SOAR from Home. It's me, Lindsay, and you guys are joining us. We are Project SOAR. We are a nonprofit community education programming for adults with special needs and disabilities. Our goal is always to be a lifelong continuation of learning, education, and recreational programming. So this channel is for you to use to learn. So come along with us. Today, as you guys can see by the title, we're working on a life skill. I've seen a lot of comments from you guys that you really want more videos about life skills and social skills. This is a perfect place to keep practicing them. So feel free to join us, and if you're by yourself or with somebody else or with a group. Welcome. I do want to give a shout out. I had some friends from Georgia email me that I wanted to say hi to on the video. So hi. We are so glad that you guys are watching. We've had a lot of friends connect from all over. You can email me, find my email on our website, www.projectsoarmn.org. All right. Or you can just leave a comment below. I wanted to forget. All right. So as you guys can tell by the title of our video, today we are going to be working on the life skill of our fears and how to deal with our fears. Now, what month is it? It's October, so that means we're right into our spooky season. All right, Halloween is so much fun, but it also brings up a lot of questions and in our heart, some of our fears, really thinking about it, right? It's all about being scared, going boo. All right, so we're really going to talk about recognizing and how to work on our fears in a healthy way. All right, so first thing we're going to talk about, I want you to think about what your fear is, okay? For the example of this video, I'm going to be using my son. He's got a really big fear of the weather right now, specifically thunderstorms and tornadoes. All right? Now, so I'm going to be using his fear. I'm afraid of the dark personally. What are you afraid of? You could be heights. It could be, loud noises. Whatever it is, I really want you to think about what is your fear. Okay, and maybe you have one or two, but I really want you to think about what your number one is. Now, if you need a minute, always remember you can pause the video or rewind to give yourself more time before we move on to the next skill. So we're just gonna move on. So with somebody else, whether you're gonna do it right now when I'm done talking about it, I'm gonna say pause when I'm done, or later on, I want you to talk about what your fear is and with somebody else. And we're going to work on how we empathize with others about their fear and how we want to explain our fear to someone else so that they don't brush it off. So it's really easy. For example, my son, he's really scared of thunderstorm. And I'm like, it's really easy for me in my head to think or even say out loud, well, why are you afraid of that? Nothing's going to happen to you. You're in the house. That's really easy, right? That is a good thought. Like, nothing's going to happen to him. He's in the house. But he has that fear, and then I'm brushing off his fear. I'm not helping him in any way. I'm making him feel like, well, why am I afraid of that? But I'm still afraid. Okay? And I'm not going to feel like I'm heard if somebody were to say that to me. So instead, another way to say it is, oh, I hear you're afraid of thunderstorms. Do you want to talk about it, or how can I help you right now? Okay? So that's a way to empathize. Remember, empathy is understanding and knowing somebody else's emotions and being able to be a part of their emotions. So I'm understanding his fear. Now, I don't have to become afraid of a thunderstorm. That's not what I'm meaning. I'm meaning I understand what fear is. I know how I feel fear, and I understand how to tell him, hey, I'm here for you. And what can I do to help you? I'm going to come down to his level. I'm not going to be up here on my high horse saying, who cares about that? You're going to be fine, right? I'm really saying, oh, I know how bad fear is. I know how I react to that. Can I help you? All right. Now, a way to say it, so if somebody else is like, why are you afraid of that? A different way to say it, approach it, would be to say, hey, I know that I'm afraid of the weather, and that's not the same thing you're afraid of, which is great, but could you please support me and help me through this fear? That's what I need right now. Do you see how that's different? So maybe sometimes people just need a little bit of extra. Just say like, hey, I'm being real. And sometimes that's hard. If we're in our fear, that's not the time to do that. It's later on. But I want you to turn and practice with somebody. I want you to, A, be the empathizer. So when someone tells you their fear, I want you guys to show that you're going to support them back. And B, I want you guys to practice saying, this is my fear. Will you help me with it? Okay? So pause the video if you're going to do it right now. All right. So moving on. So another part about fear is recognizing why fear is a tool. Now, just kind of being human, there's an internal, so that means like in our brain, in our bodies, we have that unmistakable ability to say, oh, that's not safe. That's why I'm afraid of it, right? That's where all fear stems from, right? Some sort of like safety thing that we have in our mind. It's just natural, right? I'm afraid of the dark, so naturally, you know, I don't want to be in the dark. Like, something bad could happen in the dark. It's better in the light. Not that something couldn't happen during the day, but you know, that's why I'm afraid of it. So knowing why we have a fear is important. Fears come in the ability to keep us safe. It's that fight or flight instinct, and that's okay. Now, what we don't want fears to do is to keep us from living our lives. So understanding that fear is a tool that we just have, and it's okay that we have it, but knowing that we're going to overcome it and have it not keep us. So, for example, from keeping us from living life is my son this weekend. He was so afraid of like every cloud, every little wind gust. He was like, oh, it's going to happen. And I was like, well, not, you know, I was trying to talk to him. I was like, yeah, I understand. Things could happen, you know, lightning, that doesn't always do great. You know, it could hit a tree. Very few people would have ever, you know, strike. And so I understand why he's having that fear. Like, you know, something could happen, but it probably won't. You know, 99.99% sure it won't, but there are times. So saying, hey, I understand that, recognizing why we want safety in that moment from that fear, that's important. Now, I want you guys, that you guys can talk about a little bit, but that is more about just knowing. So the third one though, this is what I really am going to want you guys to work on, is digging down deep and understanding where that fear came from. So all fears come from a certain point. So my son learned about weather and natural disasters. So that's really where it stemmed from. So he was just at school and he learned about it, and he just kept thinking about it, and his fear developed. He kind of just got more and more scared. Now, that's one way. If you learn about it, but maybe you don't really talk about the other side of extreme weather, that's easy to come out with fear. For me, I know that my fear of the dark came from a lot of noises outside my window at night where I grew up, and that really made me nervous because I didn't want to hear noises at night. So I know that that's where it came from. So it's important to recognize where fear came from if you remember, because then that helps you to work on it. So I want you guys to take a minute, pause it. If you're by yourself, you can write it down or think about it. If you're with a group, see if you guys can talk out loud and share if you remember where your fear came from. And it might take you a minute, maybe just thinking about it for a minute. You're not gonna remember, but you could go home, talk to somebody else, and really figure out where that fear came from. Okay, maybe you saw it on TV, maybe you read it on the internet, maybe it's from like when you were a baby. All right, so pause and talk. All right, so now we're gonna do our practice. 2 more steps. First is practice. So overcoming fear, one thing is you have to be able to calm yourself in that fear. So with my son, the first thing we did is we shut the blinds. We said, out of sight, out of mind. You know, the clouds were still outside, but that's what he needed. That was his first step into being able to calm himself while the clouds were present. So working on calming techniques. And so really, and you guys can go find my other video. I have some videos about breathing techniques and calming yourself. But a really good one is to do very slow circle breathing, and that means to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. So just going. All right, go ahead and do one with me, really slow. Whenever you do that slow breathing, it's gonna calm your racing heart, okay? So that's just kind of a good technique to practice. And the more you practice, the more you're gonna be able to recall that in a time of fear or when you're kind of anxious, okay? So that's a good one to just practice, all right? Now, other ways to practice is you're gonna do little by little by little, right? So first thing we did for my son is we had the blinds closed, we practiced calming. Then we opened the blinds and then he would look at the clouds, and when he felt getting anxious, we did our calm breathing, all right? So just calming our body. And we're gonna keep doing that. Then we're also gonna limit the time he looks at the weather app, because oh my goodness, he was looking at the weather app like every 2 seconds. Oh, there's a 50% chance at 2, there's a 80% chance at 3. And we were like, nope, no more, you don't need to. You can look outside, you can see it. We're understanding that you want to be prepared to look ahead, which in some fears is a good thing, but make sure you're limiting it. So we have them down to just 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, and night, because it can change here. Here in Minnesota, we just, you know, weather changes. I'm sure some of you have that issue where you live as well. So really just taking that away, that thought and forefront to just be constantly checking and being able to calm our body from not constantly checking is a good step 1. Now, maybe if your fear is heights, maybe the first thing you do is go somewhere where you're on the 2nd floor of a building, but you don't go next to a window, next to a staircase. You're just on the 2nd floor and you're aware of that. All right, and then you calm yourself. Then the next step is maybe be on the 2nd floor, but be, you know, go look out a window. Then be able to calm yourself. Then you do that process again for the 3rd floor, the 4th floor, 5th floor, maybe climbing up a hill, a small one, then going up a bigger one. And so each time you do that, whenever you accomplish, even if it's a little bit, even if you just only go halfway up a staircase because you're afraid of heights, and you just go halfway up a staircase and you're able to calm your body and then walk down calmly, great. That was step 1. So making sure you're just working on it little by little until you feel good, all right? So going up, sometimes going up and then just doing it and being able to calm yourself in the moment, it can work. I'm not saying it won't, but you're gonna feel a lot better and a lot more able to do it and tackle it if you're working step by step to calm yourself, all right? So, you know, my son's not gonna go out in a thunderstorm, but being able to be calm while we watch it rain, you know, drawing, coloring is where we were able to get to this weekend with him. And that was a great accomplishment. We just worked up little by little. And when he started to have some more, we just closed the windows and we would work up from it again. So if you have a setback, that's okay, right? Happy accidents. There's no mistakes. Just always pick yourself up and start practicing again from the beginning, all right? Then it'll become internal. You'll be able to do it all the time. All right, so that's our practice. Then when you guys get good about it, you're gonna teach someone else. So you got better at your dealing with your fear. Maybe you're not over it, but you're really good at working on it and not being super afraid in the moment. Well, I find out that my friend Bob has the same fear. Oh, hey Bob, I understand you have that fear. I also have that, but this is how I work on it. Start helping Bob. All right, so I want you guys, when this video is done, I want you guys to think about different ways you can start to overcome your fear. Talk to someone else. It's really helpful to talk to somebody else who doesn't have the same fear, because they can say like, okay, what about this? And you can say, use your voice and say, hey, you know what, that's a little too much. Is there something that's a little bit smaller I could do? You know, like a smaller step. Like I said, maybe you don't have to go to the 2nd floor. Maybe you can go a couple steps up the staircase and then back down. Okay, I was good with that. Now I'm gonna add 2 more steps. All right, I'm good. Come back down. Add little by little, whatever is good for you. And remember, my best is not the same as your best, who's not the same as Bob's best. And that's okay. That's why we're all unique, awesome people, okay? All right, so I'm gonna wrap this up. If you guys want to, if you're not in the Twin Cities area, we have some online classes you guys are welcome to register and join us for. We always like that. And also we have our in-person. So if you are in Project SOAR or in the Twin Cities area, Minnesota, make sure you guys are registering online, and drop comments. Let me know what kind of videos you guys want to see. If you want some more Halloween themed videos, I call it spooky season. I can do that. I did a few last year. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. That means just click the thumbs up button. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.